And private education groups Curo, Advotech and Stadio have recently opened their books. Assessing the numbers, it's clear that demand for quality education remains high. According to Johan Steyn, AI and automation thought leader and Business Day contributor, AI has the power to transform educational systems for improved learning outcomes. At the same time, he has his reasons for not wanting to send his children to university one day. Johan joins us with more detail. Thank you so much for your time today. Now, what do you have to say to educators that see AI as a threat to the education system, both from making things too easy for students and taking over the key functions of educators?
Sonati, it's so good to join you again. Thank you. Look, this ship has left the docks. AI is here. We need to prepare our children for the future. And educators, they play an immensely important role, but they have to pivot, they have to grow, they have to change. But the whole educational system globally, and especially here in South Africa, needs to change. So let's embrace it. Let's do it responsibly. It doesn't have to make it easy for children. We don't have to chat GPT everything. But our children will live in a world driven by artificial intelligence, and we have to educate them and prepare it for it, whether we like it or not, and whether we feel it's a threat to us as educators or not.
Yeah. Johan, will education and really the education system be left behind? You talk, particularly about the South African educational ecosystem. Will they be left behind if they leave AI out of the equation of learning tools?
Absolutely. Look, we've only in the last, year or two or three maybe, introduced AI and robotics into our curricula. And I think, look, better late than never, but we are 5 to 8 years too late already.
Yeah.
How the teachers will train students on this technology that they themselves have not been trained on, I don't know. And let me just give a shout out to teachers.
Yes.
Most teachers are incredible people. They have a calling, they do great work. Whether their own training and preparation will prepare them for this world of AI is in question, and hopefully our government and our universities will do a lot about that. But, and hopefully we'll touch on that article of mine. I am not going to send my child to university. Waste of time and money. I don't say I'm against education and healing. I just think the way it's working at the moment, the way it's been working for the last 250 years, needs to change rapidly, especially here in our own country. And we saw this last week or two, all the news about the the teacher numbers being reduced, fewer teachers in the schools and the like. That is a big worry to me. We are in South Africa, this beautiful country that I love, already so far behind. I'm speaking as a father, not as an AI guy.
Yes.
And let's unpack that a bit, if you would.
Let's actually unpack that, Johan, because would you not say then, because it has worked, the traditional educational system, especially let's talk about tertiary. It has worked for a lot of people, and I'm just wondering if then it shouldn't be a hybrid kind of situation. And also really because also you talk about the fact that, teachers aren't at a place where they are fully equipped with AI. So for a total pivot of the education system kind of being completely AI powered, how are you navigating that? And would you not say then that the best solution would be for a hybrid system?
Oh, absolutely. Look, there are so many aspects of the traditional educational system that's still relevant, especially in a country like ours. We have a ratio of learners to teachers is very high. We have to put all of these learners, especially young learners, through the school system. And it's so easy in the field that I work to talk about hyper-personalization, AI-led teaching. But, we have rural areas where children don't even eat unless they eat at school, if they hopefully eat. There's a whole societal conversation here rather than preparing for the future. What I think I've just said through that article as a parent is I don't want my son, he's only 10 now, so we still have that he goes to university one day at massive expense to study a Bachelor of Arts and who knows what, so that he can smoke dope and party around for 3 years while he's figuring out what he wants to do one day. We have such incredible youngsters in our country, talented, our ability to be multicultural, multilingual sets us apart from so many areas in the world. If we think of business process or outsourced call centers. But, the challenge we have is that our educational system globally is based on the first industrial revolution, where we had to educate or train factory workers. Now, factory worker does one job over and over every day. There's no room for critical thinking, creativity, or everything like that. And often when I help my son with his homework, I'm just a freak out, because in the age of information technology, in the age of everything humans have ever written or figured out is available at the tip of my finger on my smartphone, why does he have to memorize facts that he needs to repeat to show that he knows what he's talking about, even though he has no context, that he will forget about the day after? So this is, man, I wish we had 8 hours for this conversation. I've been kicking off a lot of educational institutions about this. I'm very passionate about this.
We're definitely going to be reading more of your articles, Johan. But at the same time, of course, I do understand there's a lot of optimism when it comes to this AI-powered future, particularly when it comes to education. But I mean, are there any risks that we need to be cognizant of in the integration of AI into the education system?
Oh, it's a great question. Quickly, the potential benefits. Personalizing education for our learners. It's a one-size-fits-all. I mean, I myself have autism. That's why I've struggled all my life in school, in primary school, in secondary school, and not just autistic children, but children think differently. We humans think differently. We can, without changing the curriculum, change the way that we deliver education to them. But why your question is so super relevant from an African point of view is that we consume the platforms from America and Europe and China and others. A lot of those platforms are amazing, but the biases in the platform against ethnicity, potentially against gender, are there, and we need to guard against it. So let's make sure we use what we can and not reinvent the wheel, but also make sure that we apply it to our cultural differences, the nuances that we have. I saw Siya Kolisi on Saturday again. I love that guy, and it makes me so proud to be a South African. Let's create more Siyas, not just sports people, educators, doctors of philosophy, doctors of medicine. The risks are, maybe just summarize, is that we use platforms that are very Eurocentric or Northern Hemisphere centric and not completely relevant to us. And that's where we as Africans and South Africans need to play a big role to make sure our children and as Africans can benefit from this technology without any discrimination or biases.
Well, thank you so much. We do have to wrap up the conversation there, Johan. Thank you so much for your insights on how we could integrate AI and how we should be integrating AI into the education ecosystem. That was Johan Steyn, AI and automation thought leader and Business Day contributor.